Callistus Juma, in his work Open Innovation and Its Enemies, also gave a brief history about the evolution of coffee, how coffee started as a drink for Arab imams that needed to wake up on time to call prayers, and how it has evolved now to become a globally acceptable beverage found in different corners and kitchens all around the world. So the idea really is the same. The FAF index model seems to be a pattern, an idea, a conceptualization that is evident in almost every product, every cultural asset and indigenous product that has gained global relevance. Aside the FAF index model, we also devised a means of augmenting, monitoring the progress and diagnosing utility and value, and which is found in the 4 quadrants of utility. The first quadrant being products or properties, and the second being perception, the third is conversation, and the fourth is companion. We notice that most times when we want to measure the value in a product, we look at the properties within it, the product itself, what is it as itself. Again, the second one is perception. How do people see the product? What sort of perception? And most times you discover that products that have moved from obscure phase to global relevance have a way of creating a Jesus switch to the perception, to how people see them. And from there, there's a conversation that is generated, which later almost always end up as in companionship. That means it always end up in acceptance by the people. So the 4 quadrants of utility itself is a no-brainer, but it's very necessary and important to help us measure, to help us augment, and to help us diagnose utility and attempts at increasing value of cultural assets as well as indigenous products. In closing, the future of our research release, in subsequent research, we intend to go deeper into adoption of a persuasive discourse analysis inventory, the PDI, which will entail assigning variables and scaling the 7 elements of hedonic calculus. This, we believe, will help us understand, gauge, and measure hedonic calculus better. Also, we draw inspiration also too from life sciences. We are looking at sequencing and alternative splicing, an understanding of which can help us project hedonic calculus and utility in a better and more measurable form. Be that as it may, too, the idea that we try to advocate to from research and everything that we've written is that there's a future for cultural assets and indigenous products who adopt utilitarian principles, who look at the substructure of utilitarianism itself and build responsible, prospective assets over on them. And again, too, they have access to the 4 quadrants of utility, which can help them measure where they are on the road towards increasing value, what they are doing wrong, the phase, the quadrant in which they can better augment or iterate to give better results. And I think that is really the brief summary of our paper. We want to appreciate and thank the steering committee the conference for having us. We appreciate giving us the opportunity, the platform to share our ideas. We see the conference as belonging to the third quadrant of processing, because a platform like this gives us the opportunity for conversation, and it is in conversation that an idea develops and gains more acceptance and is more refined before it now gets to the stage of companionship. So I'm also willing to learn more and interact more with proponents or people or researchers who have interest in my field of interest, myself in my core areas. And my email address is showme.rex@gmail.com. The second one is remirex@yahoo.com. Thank you, LICE 2018, for having me. Thank you, Steering Committee. Thank you, Moeller Center, or the audience at Moeller Center, Cambridge University. Thank you very much. Bye.